So you agree with me that they were doing something that they should not have been doing?
Because they were not allowed to be in a relationship. They were doing it in secret. They could not report. So, yes.
Okay. And so Samuel's dad didn't like Samuel to be with anyone who was a part of the Abraham family. Is that correct?
No, I did not say that.
Okay. So you would think that you would say that Samuel's dad would be okay with Samuel being with the Abrahams. Yeah. And there is no reason to believe that she would lie for Samuel, correct?
Yeah.
You would always tell the truth, correct? You would also do anything to protect Samuel, correct? You would do anything to protect your favorite cousin?
No, I wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do anything. You would limit that to telling the truth on the book, correct? Okay. Now, you stated that you heard Samuel scream something, correct?
Yep, something. Yes.
He yelled something, right? And you were about 15 meters away at that point, right? And that's about 45 feet, correct? So that would be about from that wall to about past where that wall is back there, correct?
I'm good at math, so I don't know how to.
But you would agree with me that it's quite a distance, wouldn't you?
But I have.
But you only heard him say one thing. And you have really good ears. Okay. Now, the thing that you heard him say was, please stop seeing him. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And him is referring to her boyfriend.
I don't know.
Okay. Are you aware that Rama had a boyfriend?
I did not know that. I just
Okay. And you had never met Rama before, correct?
no.
Okay. Now, when Samuel got up, do you recall that?
Yes.
And when he got up, he looked exhausted, correct?
Yes.
Very tired.
Exhausted. Yes.
Okay. And he very casually and slowly walked back, correct?
Just walked back.
He just walked back. Okay. And when he got there, this is after you had seen the girls just fly in the air, correct?
I didn't see the girls just flying.
You saw her.
I just.
So can we use your exact wording that you gave to the police? The girl jumped up and either pulled up or straightened her dress and started running towards her eyes. So you would agree that that's after, I'm sorry, that happened right before you talked to Samuel, right?
Yes.
And at that point, he told you that he was falling in love with her,
Yes.
not that he fell in love.
He wasn't sure. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Now, you just stated to me that Samuel's dad wouldn't care if he and Rama were together, correct? Now, when you spoke to the police, you told them that their parents would not be happy, correct? So you heard Samuel give a statement today, correct?
Yeah.
And so you are now saying that Samuel's dad wouldn't care if the two of them were together because Samuel said that, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So you would do anything, include lie under oath to protect your cousin. Is that not correct? So why are you doing that now?
Because the father is too ill to prevent.
Objection. He's badgering my client, my witness.
Thank you. Now, I just have a few more questions for you. You do know that the girl who Samuel was a teenager, correct? And at the time, Samuel was 18 years old. Okay. And before Samuel interacted with that girl and they went behind the bush, he told you to take a 30-minute break, correct?
Yeah.
No further questions for the witness.
When you said that you would do anything for your cousin, you didn't mean anything, correct? You meant it more as a figure of speech.
Yeah.
That, would you say that you said that because you were trying to convey how much you love Samuel?
That's correct, yes.
And you love him so much because he's a great cousin.
Yeah.
And he takes care of his father. He's a good man.
Yes.
In your statement to the police, you were unsure about her pulling up her dress. But then you stated the girl had her clothes on the whole time.
That's,
And you're certain of that.
yes, 100%.
Thank you. No further questions.
6 months?
Doctor, I would like to call our last witness, the doctor. Dr. James Abdi.
Dr. James Abdi, MD. I swear by the name of the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this court touching the matter in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Dr. James, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine. It's an unfortunate incident to find you in court again.
Part of my job, unfortunately.
Oh, that's good. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm an emergency room physician. Been a doctor for over 25 years. I am currently the assistant director of emergency medicine at the Navajo Sub-County Hospital. And I've been there since 2010. And that.
Can you share with the court your employment history?
This is an accurate representation of my resume.
With the resume, copy. Okay. And Dr. Abdi, how do you know Miss Rahma Ibrahim?
I came to know her, I believe it was April 8th or 9th, 2021. She came in for me to do a follow-up on a previous examination given by another doctor.
And how do you know Dr. Musa?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
How do you know Dr. Mikel Musa?
We actually worked together for a couple of years. I was a supervisor at where I work now, the Navajo Sub-County Hospital. He worked there, I want to say from 2010 to 2013, about that. And as an emergency room doctor, I was the assistant director.
We both can agree he's a good doctor.
Yeah.
He's,
I mean,
quite qualified.
Yeah, if I got shot or something and he was the doctor I was going to go see, I would feel very safe that he was going to save my life.
Okay, can you tell me about Dr. Musa's report that you reviewed?
So as part of my preparation to meet with the victim in this crime, I reviewed his statement as well as all the other statements and found his statement and his examination to be lacking to the standards that we hold ourselves in.
It is on record stated by Dr. Mikel Musa, there is no standard of procedure. He did say that on the stand.
I believe he said there is a standard, but there's nothing there's no legal requirement for a lot of things. There's Hippocratic Oath, things like that do no harm, but there is no legal, you get locked up if you don't collect DNA.
And why would you say his record was not up to standard, considering the issues, considering that he's more experienced in the field, he's dealt specifically with these cases?
So I would say he may be able to spend more time in the sexual crime area than me. I see all types of crime, and so or all types of crime and the injuries that are sustained by that. And the first thing we do when somebody comes in is we go back to A, B, C, airway. Make sure you can get air into your lungs, breathing, your lungs are pumping air in and out of your blood, and C, circulation. Make sure that the blood is flowing. Once you get through that, you should be having the patient stable enough to go into a little further. So you might look for small cuts, things like that, or larger bleeds.
Okay. And you meeting up with the victim.
Yes,
Meeting up with the victim 7 days after the event.
I did.
Would you doing a scan or maybe doing an examination be of any effect? Would it be effective?
No, so unfortunately, the way DNA and things like that work is over time, the percentage of DNA that's left on the skin, fingernails, are slowly decreases. So day one, they're less than it was at the moment of attack. 5 days down the line, there's next to none left. So doing an examination to try to do DNA 7 would just be a waste of time.
And you had the information that a day prior to the purported attack, the victim had consensual sex with a boyfriend.
Yes, that was in the witness statement from the victim that I reviewed before I spoke with her.
Okay. And as a doctor, with such prior information, would your conclusion be different?
My conclusion would be different than Dr. Musa, yes, because I had the knowledge that he did not, which was that she had sexual relations the day before the alleged attack.
And it is on record from 2 of our witnesses and 1 of the witnesses from the prosecution that the victim fell. So I'd like to show you some exhibits taken by the doctor, Dr. Mikel Musa, and I'd like to ask some questions on it. May I approach the witness? Prosecution, page 15, exhibit 2.
I believe I reviewed these before I met with the victim in this. Yes, I've seen these pictures before.
Okay, for the first picture,
Yes, it's a contusion on the victim's chest.
would that be as a result from a fall?
Yes, that's very likely based on the size of it being only 3.2 by 2.2 centimeters on the collarbone. That is very likely.
And the second scar
That's also a contusion
on the thigh,
on the left thigh, which is about 2.6 centimeters in diameter.
would that be as a scar from as a result of first-time sexual interaction?
That could be caused by a lot of things.
Or it could be from a fall?
It could be from a fall, it could be from a car accident, it could be from going on a safari and bumping your leg into something. Honestly, you hit anything hard enough, you're going to get a contusion.
And the last scar with the grass stains,
Yes,
would it be
laceration on the victim's left calf.
would it be as a result from a fall?
Yes, that is a very likely possibility. It's only 5 centimeters in length. I mean, cats scratch longer than that.
Okay, one last question. In your statement,
Yes.
where you stated why you think he did not follow the standard of protocol. Can you inform this court of the standard of protocols?
Yeah, so we have a preset standard. Every hospital has them. They might change a little bit the wording, but it's always, we do life over limb. So if I can save your life, but I have to lose a leg, we're going to do that. If I can save your life, and then I can save your limbs, we're going to do that. And then we're going to go into making you comfortable, collecting evidence, because unfortunately, as part of my job is I collect evidence for the police. I have to testify in trials from time to time and stuff. But Dr. Musa, I feel, failed to meet that standard. He didn't document any injuries on the body diagram. In fact, the only thing I have from him is 3 pictures and a statement. I don't have a full workup with blood pressure, any blood tests, anything like that, other than STDs were negative. He didn't take any fingernail clippings. He didn't do a thorough enough exam to swab for DNA in the vaginal area or the butt area. And I just think that as someone who's been practicing medicine for over 25 years, that was substandard.
And again, let me take you back. Is this your first roller coaster with a sexual offense case or sexual assault?
I've testified in about 10 trials as of 2021 when I made this statement. It could be a couple more now. I don't keep a running toll. I don't like testifying, I'm going to be honest with you. I would much rather be in the hospital treating my patients.
Okay, so you do admit to this court that this is not a first time thing?
No, this is not the first time I've testified.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Thank you.
Dr.
Yes.
You just mentioned to opposing counsel that the photographs that were collected are probably the result of, correct?
To a reasonable degree of medical certainty, yes.
Okay, now I have a non-medical question for you that requires long.
Okay. Yeah. Hit me with it. I'll try my best. I mean, I'm here to testify for medicine, not for.
I just need a okay, that's it. Now, you stated to this court that you're an expert, is that correct?
I am an expert, yes, in emergency medicine.
Okay. Now, when an individual falls, are they likely, if it's on a rock, to injure both their shoulder and their leg?
Yes, it's very possible.
Okay. So they would collect, the shoulder would have a contusion and the leg would have a contusion.
Yes, you could hit
I think you can't say
simultaneously.
that, so that's what I want you to do. Now, the contusion that was found on the thigh,
Yes.
it said that it's roughly 3.2 centimeters in diameter, 2.2 beneath the collarbone. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Are you aware that Rama stated that a hole was being held up against her chest?
I am aware.
Are you aware that that injury stated that it was on a collarbone?
Yes.
Are you aware that this is a hole?
I am aware.
Are you aware that that is approximately 3.2 centimeters?
No, I'm not aware because I
Okay,
didn't
so
measure
you
it.
now know that, correct?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's it. Now, you stated that Dr. Mikael Musa didn't properly conduct or did an incomplete investigation. Is that correct?
I believe incomplete is the correct wording.
In your opinion, is higher than a high court. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. The fan over my head.
Your opinion is higher than the high court. Is that correct?
My opinion is not above the high. The court sets the law.
I'm
I just do
asking
the
a yes or no
medicine.
question. That's it.
I just do the medicine.
Is it above the high court? Yes or no?
I listen to the high court, just like you or anyone else in this room.
Now, are you aware of criminal appeal E016 of 2002?
I am not an attorney, so I don't read case law.
Okay, now, as an expert who does sexual assault cases, I would believe that it would be beneficial to you to be abreast on what the actual law states is required for sexual assault. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that if I was
Okay,
prosecuting,
that's all I
yeah.
listen to, yes or no? That's it. Now, in that case that I just read you, E016 of 2020, the High Court, who you just mentioned was above you, stated that DNA is not able to be collected, and everything that Dr. Musa did in this case was up to date. Are you aware of that?
Yes, as I said before,
Are you aware that Dr. Musa did everything that was up to date?
I believe he did everything up to the minimum legal standard, yes.
So he did his job correctly.
No. He did his job legally, but legally
Yes,
and the
I
standard are
agree, yes or
different.
no? Yes.
once he's asking my witness on a field, on expertise that isn't in his jurisdiction.
May I respond, Your Honor?
You refer to a case law and he is in the medical field.
May I respond?
That's what I think that's one, the answer that is not, she doesn't want to be caseless. I got it right. That's what you said, Dr.
Yes, I'm a doctor. If I had all day to read case law, I wouldn't be a doctor, unfortunately.
I'm of the impression that as a doctor, you have an obligation to follow the law as well as any citizen. So as him saying that he's a doctor and he's not reading case law, that seems to me that he's not probably doing his job, so he should probably lose his license. Thank you. Now, doctor, you stated that the injuries that Dr. Musa found are not typically the type of injuries that are experienced in sexual assault, correct?
Correct, they're far more severe, normally.
Okay. And you just used the great word, normal.
Correct.
Now, is it possible that this is a non-normal situation?
Yes, and it's possible for pigs to
Okay,
fly.
that's it. It's not possible for pigs to fly.
Have you seen them on an airplane? They fly.
Do you want to? I'm not going to go with you. Now, are you aware that at the time the individual who was assaulted was 17 years old?
Based on the report from both the doctor and from the witness statement, yes.
Okay. And you are willing to testify that a young woman was not sexually assaulted based on an examination that you did not conduct yourself?
Yes, based on
No
the,
further questions for the witness.
James Abdi. What's your specialty in the medical
it's
field?
emergency medicine.
Sorry, what's your specialty in the
I
medical
specialize
field?
in emergency medicine and board certified emergency medicine after completing a residency in medical.
And in the cross, the counsel asked you, are you willing to testify that a girl wasn't sexually assaulted?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. These fans are very loud. It's
Okay,
very hot.
sorry. The cross. During the cross, the counsel asked you, are you willing to testify that a girl wasn't sexually assaulted?
Yes, he did.
And are you willing to, I see you willing to testify to see that an innocent boy does not fall down or does not go down for a mistake that wasn't his?
This is the and opposing against.
So I think you're revealing the issues.
Okay, one last question. Okay, maybe that question not go in record. Okay, another question. Does the standard of procedure vary from doctor to doctor?
No, the standard is set. I mean, if you go to the doctor in Australia, London, Nairobi, Mombasa, New York City, California, you should have the right standard of care. So there's this thing, it's called the World Health Organization. You might know about it from COVID.
Your question was that the standard procedure
Vary from doctor to doctor.
No, the World Health Organization sets a standard, and all the doctors are supposed to follow that.
And according to your witness statement, taking into consideration the reasonable man or a reasonable doctor, the said procedure, was it done?
No, it wasn't done. It should have been made sure she was safe, but she was. She was breathing. She had no major bleeds, anything like that. And then they should have turned their attention to the evidence collection. So collecting clothing, DNA from different areas, fingernail clippings, things like that. Maybe run a couple scans to make sure nothing internally is wrong with her. But based on what I've read from the doctor, that was not done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
that the close of the case.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, done with our witnesses.
Closing submission. Execution.
We have 20 minutes each.
How much time do we have?
Lord, we have reached the conclusion of this particular difficult case. A case where light has been shown, the sexual assault that was committed, the evidence that has been presented by the prosecution has been clear, concise, I believe has proved and has surpassed the standard of beyond reasonable doubt. My Lord, from the testimonies that have been given here, the evidence that have been presented, we have proved the three elements of sexual assault. Number one, the victim was below the age of 18, and even as much as the defense would like to claim that she had consented to this particular activity, it's child law that minors cannot consent. As such, the defense falls. The second element that we have been able to prove has been coercion and the use of force. It has been proved beyond reasonable doubt that the acts of the very accused, the act of him using a hold to press down the victim's chest, really shows coercion. This has not only come out in the statement that was presented by the police, it has also been corroborated by the statement of the doctor, Mr. Miguel Musa, the other which has been presented by Dr. Abu. The second and third element, which is the abuse of authority. And the victim in this particular case trusted neighbor, went to visit under the guise of borrowing a home. But in turn, this neighbor turned predator, chose to sexually assault the victim. My Lord, the testimony that have been made here by the victim, her sister, and the doctor prove well beyond reasonable doubt that the acts of the accused person really satisfy the various standards. We have heard the words of the victim, a brilliant girl who has recounted her horrifying experience and has shown a lot of probity before this court, testifying against the perpetrator in this particular case. The defense may try to cast a doubt by bringing a case or alleging and alluding to a case of land disputes that were being that this particular proceeding had been used to settle this dispute out of court. My Lord, they have even been defeated or they have been unable to defend their case and define their particular defense. It remains right that a child is innocent and is trusted. And such abuse of the trust that is given upon members of the society should be protected. My Lord, sexual assault is very scary. It is true that the victim in this particular case have to bear the physical and emotional scars of this heinous act for the rest of her life. There was a submission there from my Lord that this court finds the accused person guilty of the offense of sexual assault, and in accordance with the law, they will be given the maximum applicable so that it can be a lesson to others who may want to perpetrate this particular heinous act. Finally, my Lord, it is our submission that this court has a very important role of ensuring
Yes, the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. The accused, Samuel Oteno, is a good man, a hard-working man, who just happens to have fallen in love with his neighbor. But love is not a crime. The prosecution's burden was to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Samuel Otieno forced himself upon her, upon Rama. And yet the evidence that they used to support those claims have an alternative explanation that she herself has given this court. She stated herself she had consensual sex 2 days prior to the examination. She stated herself that she did not tell the examining doctor, Dr. Musa. And it was on that lack of knowledge that he ground his conclusion that it must have been sexual assault. Had she told him the truth, he would not have come to that conclusion. These charges have been brought against Samuel, not because he did anything wrong, but because of a dispute that has nothing to do with him over the border of their lands, a petty dispute between their families that has nothing to do with the love he feels for Rama, that has nothing to do with the animosity he might feel towards Milo. The prosecution carried the burden to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond common sense, that he committed these horrible acts. And yet Samuel did not. You heard from himself as he was on the stand testifying. He would never hurt her. And this is a man who spends his days taking care of his father, who sadly is dying of cancer. They claim they are seeking justice, but justice is our shield, our defender. Justice protects us and keeps us safe. And Samuel needs justice. In KKM v. Republic in 2017, KKM v. Republic versus Republic in 2017, the High Court held that judicial officers should take into account the age of the complainant, where the alleged victim is 15, 16, or 17. And great caution should be exercised before the accused is sent to jail. This does not mean that defilement did not occur, but the circumstances of the case should not be such that the alleged victim was in a sexual relationship with her perceived boyfriend. And as you heard here today, she is in a consensual sexual relationship with her boyfriend. And the evidence that they wish to pin against my client, Samuel Otieno, does not conclusively prove that he sexually assaulted her. All it proves is what she said, that she had consensual sex with her boyfriend for the first time 2 days prior to being examined by Dr. Musa. Beyond a reasonable doubt. That is their burden. And yet the evidence does not prove. Common sense clearly stands for the proposition that the injuries indicating sexual assault could not have come from Sam. The injuries were minor. They claim he held her down with a hoe, and yet the bruise is only about 3 centimeters. Had he used force like she claimed, it would have been far more severe, as Dr. Musa themselves said, is the norm. Samuel would not have hurt Rama. because he loves her. Whether that love is misguided or not is not a matter for this court. What is weighing the facts of the case the prosecution has laid out before you. And these facts do not lead to a conclusion that Samuel committed these horrible acts. In the Court of Appeals case of Sawe versus Republic in 2003, the court held that kissing is neither defilement nor sexual assault. They admitted they were kissing. They admitted they were talking. He admitted to getting angry. None of those things are sexual assault. In Karuki, pardon my mispronunciations, Karuki, Nijiru, and 7 others versus the Republic, Criminal Appeals number 6 of 2001. The court held that the law of identification is well settled. And this court has from time to time said that the evidence relating to identification must be scrutinized and should only be accepted and acted upon if the court is satisfied that the identification is free of the possibility of error. And yet we have provided an alternative explanation. In fact, the prosecution themselves provided you with an alternative explanation. Justice is our shield and our defender. And Samuel needs justice here. If he is convicted, he will spend the next 10 to 15 years in jail. And those are the last years he will get with his father. His land, his family's land will be taken from him. That is not justice. We beg the court, please find Samuel not guilty. And I would like to thank you, Your Honor, for taking the time to listen to the case today. We pray and hope that when you break to make your determination, you do so with justice and fairness. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Counsel,
5 minutes for the rebuttal.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. Your Honor, as I mentioned earlier in case E016, 2020, that court there is actually ruling at later dates than what the defense has argued, 2001 and 2016. There, the court held that, provided that there, in a criminal case involving a sexual offense, the only evidence is that of a child of 10 or 8 years who is alleged the victim of the offense. Furthermore, that court stated, provided that it is alleged in the information or charge that the female person is under the age of 18 years, the accused person shall be liable. Now, the defense said a few things. They said that love is not a crime. The law says otherwise. Sexual intercourse with the individual who is under the age of 18 is a crime and shall always be in jurisdiction until change otherwise. The defense has rested their hat on the fact that Rama had intercourse with her boyfriend the day before. That is not what we were explained when we had a Microsoft team. We were told that there was case law that could be used, and then also in addition to that.
Proceed, counsel. I agree with you.
Thank you. The defense has rested their case on the fact that Rama had sexual intercourse the day prior to this sexual assault between her and Samuel Kern. Now, they tried to discredit Dr. Musa by saying that because of the small tear to her vaginal wall, that there was no opportunity. They said that because there was a small tear, that there's no way that she could have had sex twice. However, Dr. Musa based his conclusion not only on the tear, but the fact that there was a contusion on her leg, that there was a contusion on her arm, that there was scratches that showed that there was possibly the opportunity for restriction against her, and that the bruising, in his opinion, certified that there was a sexual assault. Furthermore, the bruise on her shoulder directly correlates to the actual fact that a hoe was being used to hold her down. The mark that is on her shoulder is 3.2 centimeters, which is almost the exact size of a hoe. For those reasons, we ask that this court find that the defendant sexually assaulted Rama Ibrahim on the day of April 2nd, 2022, and sentenced that individual to life in prison. Thank you.
I think that's the end of this case. So to take a few moments to look at reading, and just give around 5 minutes, then from there. 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, that's what it is. Nice one. You even right? You keep right. You brought it well. I have you took about you laugh. I bet you just I was everybody's like the guy you're making me laugh. I'm like, and this is the whiskey you was just thank you. Which one is which one? Yes.